There comes a moment in every relationship when words stop feeling like love and start feeling like a goodbye. Every woman fears hearing them, not out of anger, but because they come from a man who's loved too deeply and quietly reached his limit. Tonight, we'll uncover these words, what they truly mean, and why they change everything between two people. Number 1, I'm done trying. These are the words no woman ever wants to hear from a man who once loved her with everything he had. Because when a man says this, it's not sudden. It's not out of anger or ego. It's the result of quiet disappointment that's been building for months, maybe even years. It means he's been fighting battles no one saw, swallowing words he wanted to say, and giving effort that was never truly felt. He has argued, compromised, and forgiven, not because it was easy, but because he still believed there was something worth saving. But when he reaches the point of saying, I'm done trying, it means that belief has finally broken. It's the emotional exhaustion that comes after endless attempts to be heard, to be seen, to be understood. A man doesn't stop trying because he stops caring overnight. He stops trying when he realizes his care has become one-sided, when every conversation turns into conflict, when his affection feels ignored, when his efforts are met with criticism instead of appreciation. It's when love starts to feel like labor and peace begins to feel like the only escape. These words don't come from a cold heart. They come from a tired one. A man who has tried to fix things, to meet expectations, to carry emotional weight that was never meant to be carried alone. When a man says he's done trying, it's not just about giving up on her. It's about choosing himself after losing himself in the process. For too long, he might have been the one apologizing first, explaining more, proving his loyalty, giving reassurance while getting none in return. Eventually, even the most patient heart runs out of energy. There comes a time when love without peace feels like a punishment. And that's when he lets go, not out of hate, but because holding on hurts more than walking away. Women often mistake a man's silence for pride, but in truth, that silence is the sound of a man who has said everything he could. It's not indifference, it's surrender. He has stopped trying to make her understand, stopped waiting for her to notice what he's been feeling all along. When he says, I'm done trying, he's not looking for a reaction. He's simply accepting reality. It's the moment he stops chasing closure from her and starts finding it within himself. Number 2. I don't feel anything anymore. These words cut deeper than anger ever could. Because when a man says this, it means the fire that once kept the relationship alive has gone out quietly, without drama or warning. He's not shouting, not accusing, not even arguing. He's detached. It's the calm that comes after too many storms. At one time, he cared so deeply that every word, every silence, every small change in tone used to affect him. But now, he's empty. The emotions that once drove him to fix things, to explain, to fight for love, are gone. It's not that he stopped caring suddenly. It's that he cared too long without being cared for in return. Emotional numbness is not born overnight. It's created through repetition, repeated hurt, repeated misunderstanding, repeated dismissal. He's been open about how he feels. He's tried to connect, but each time his emotions were ignored, they lost their strength. You can only pour your heart out so many times before it runs dry. And when he finally says, I don't feel anything anymore, what he really means is, I've reached my limit. He's emotionally checked out, not because he doesn't have emotions, but because feeling has become too painful. His silence becomes his protection, his indifference his shield. For a woman, this moment is terrifying because it means she's no longer dealing with the same man she once knew. He may still be there physically, the same face, the same presence, but emotionally, he's gone. The love in his eyes that once used to reassure her has faded into a distant look of detachment. She can sense it in how he no longer argues, no longer reacts, no longer tries to explain what's wrong. When a man is still angry, he still cares. But when he's numb, it's over on a level that's almost irreversible. He once felt everything: excitement, joy, passion, pain. But now, there's just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes when the heart finally stops fighting for something that no longer feels alive. And that quiet scares her, because deep down she knows it's not the beginning of healing for the relationship. It's the beginning of the end for his emotional investment. I don't feel anything anymore isn't a threat. It's a truth, a reflection of everything he once felt. Now gone. Number 3, I need my peace. These 4 words may sound simple, but they carry the weight of everything a man has been silently enduring. When a man says this, it means he's reached a point where emotional chaos has replaced connection, and peace has become more valuable than presence. He's not running from love. He's running from the noise that love turned into. Every argument, every misunderstanding, every unspoken tension has slowly taken away his sense of calm. What he once looked forward to, coming home, hearing her voice, sharing his thoughts, has turned into something he has to mentally prepare for. He's not asking for perfection. He's asking for quiet, for understanding, for space to breathe without feeling like he's walking on emotional eggshells. Peace to a man isn't just silence, it's safety. It's knowing he can express himself without being attacked, that he can disagree without being punished, that he can simply exist without constant emotional pressure. When that peace disappears, he starts to withdraw. Not because he's cold, but because he's tired. Tired of proving his intentions, tired of defending himself, tired of being misunderstood. "I need my peace" is not a declaration of selfishness. It's a cry for self-preservation. It's what a man says when the relationship that once gave him joy now drains him in ways words can't explain. At first, he may try to fix it, talk things through, stay patient, overlook the tension, but over time, even patience begins to hurt. When conversations always turn into arguments and love starts to feel heavy, he begins to crave stillness more than affection. That's when his priorities shift. He stops chasing validation and starts valuing quiet mornings, clear thoughts, and emotional balance. Because no matter how much a man loves a woman, if that love costs him his peace, he'll eventually choose distance. Peace becomes the only thing that makes sense when everything else feels like chaos. For a woman, hearing these words often feels like rejection, but it's not. It's reflection. It's the moment he realizes that staying has been costing him more than leaving ever will. "I need my peace" means he's no longer trying to win arguments or prove love. He's simply choosing himself over the constant noise that took away his inner calm. Number 4, I can't be who you want me to be. When a man says this, it's not defiance. It's surrender. It's the quiet recognition that no matter how hard he tries, his efforts will never match the pictures someone else has painted for him. These words come after long periods of self-doubt, of trying to mold himself into what he thinks she needs, what she says she wants, what she compares him to. He's adjusted his tone, changed his habits, silenced parts of himself, all in the hope of being accepted. But over time, he begins to realize that the version of himself she wants isn't him at all. It's a character built from her expectations, her ideals, and sometimes her unresolved insecurities. That realization breaks something inside him because he's not walking away from love. He's walking away from losing himself. A man will bend for love, but once he starts breaking, something inside him shifts. He begins to see that love isn't supposed to feel like performance. It's not supposed to make him second-guess his every move or feel small for being himself. When he says, "I can't be who you want me to be," it's not a lack of willingness. It's an acknowledgement that authenticity matters more than approval. He's not saying he won't grow. He's saying he won't become someone else just to earn affection. For too long, he's tried to meet standards that kept moving, to live up to expectations that changed every time he got close. It's the emotional fatigue of never being enough, even when he's giving everything he has. He remembers how, in the beginning, being himself was enough. His flaws were endearing, his simplicity was appreciated, and his effort was seen. But as time passed, it turned into comparisons, to past lovers, to imagined ideals, to versions of masculinity he was never meant to embody. Every time he failed to fit that mold, a piece of his confidence faded. And when a man's confidence starts to die in love, his presence soon follows. Saying, "I can't be who you want me to be," is his way of reclaiming his identity, of drawing a line between compromise and self-erasure. It's the point where he realizes that real love doesn't require him to change who he is, only to be more of who he truly is. Number 5, I don't trust you anymore. These words are not shouted in anger. They're spoken in a tone that's quiet, heavy, and final. Because when a man says this, it means something deep inside him has broken beyond repair. Trust isn't something that disappears overnight. It fades slowly, piece by piece, every time promises are broken, truths are twisted, and intentions don't match actions. A man doesn't stop trusting because of one lie. He stops when the truth starts to feel like a performance. He stops when he realizes he can no longer tell what's real and what's being said just to keep him calm. It's not about jealousy or control. It's about the deep disappointment that comes from realizing the person he let closest to him has become the reason he questions everything. Trust for a man is sacred. It's what allows him to open up, to be vulnerable, to let someone see the side he hides from the world. When that trust is betrayed, he doesn't always explode. he shuts down. He becomes distant, reserved, harder to read. The same man who once shared his thoughts without hesitation now speaks carefully, measuring every word. He stops asking questions, not because he's fine, but because he no longer believes the answers will be honest. This withdrawal is his form of protection, his way of keeping himself safe after feeling emotionally exposed. And when he finally says, "I don't trust you anymore," it's not an invitation to argue. It's his way of saying, "I can't risk myself like that again." For a woman, hearing these words often feels unfair because she may still care, still want to fix things, still believe it's possible to go back. But what's gone is not just trust. It's the innocence of believing that love alone was enough to keep things pure. Once trust is broken, even the smallest actions start to feel suspicious. Simple words carry hidden meanings, and peace turns into constant doubt. He may still love her, still miss her, still want things to be different, but love without trust is like holding water with open hands. It always slips through. "I don't trust you anymore" isn't about revenge or punishment. It's the quiet truth of a man who's seen too much to believe the same way again. Number 6, I tried, but it's not enough. These words carry the kind of pain that doesn't shout, it sighs. When a man says this, it means he's been fighting a silent battle no one noticed. He's been giving, showing up, compromising, and hoping that something would finally change. But it never did. This is not a statement of defeat, it's a confession of exhaustion. He's not saying he didn't love her. He's saying his love alone couldn't hold together what both hearts were supposed to build. He's been putting effort into a relationship that constantly made him feel unseen, unappreciated, or misunderstood. Over time, that effort starts to feel like a one-sided conversation, one where he speaks through actions but nothing echoes back. When he finally says, "I tried, but it's not enough," it means he's reached the point where trying has become a source of pain instead of hope. A man doesn't stop trying easily. He holds on even when he's hurting because love, for him, is built on commitment. He'll stay longer than he should, make excuses for things he shouldn't, and keep believing in what used to be, long after it's gone. But there comes a moment when something inside him breaks, when every attempt to fix things leads to more distance instead of closeness. It's when he realizes that no matter how much he gives, it's never received the way he intends. He's tired of proving his loyalty, tired of explaining his feelings, tired of being the only one holding the relationship together. That's when "I tried" becomes a summary of everything he's done, and "it's not enough" becomes the truth he can no longer ignore. For a woman, hearing these words can be confusing, even heartbreaking, because from her view it may seem sudden, but this moment never comes out of nowhere. It's the quiet ending of a man who once had endless patience, now replaced by emotional fatigue. It's not that he stopped caring, it's that he has nothing left to give. He's been pouring from an empty cup for too long, trying to fix something that no longer wants to be fixed. "I tried, but it's not enough" means he's finally accepted that love can't survive on effort alone, and that sometimes even giving your all still isn't enough to make someone stay. When a man reaches this point, when his words turn from emotion to acceptance, it's not the story of weakness, it's the story of awakening. Every phrase we've explored, "I'm done trying," "I don't feel anything anymore,"